Okay, so let's begin. My name is Mr. Karthik and welcome to Problem Sums Mini Course Term 3, Lesson 3. Okay. Okay, so we are from Math Facilitator Center. As you all probably know, we are located at 1 Marine Central at Parkway Center. Okay, we specialize in math and we help students to turn around their results within a short period of time. So today's objective, right, is to help you all if you all have problems. If you're struggling with problem sums, and to basically improve your confidence in tackling problem sums, because a lot of problem sums they're pretty wordy, right? So this mini course is to help you dissect all the key information and solve the questions accordingly. Okay, so today's lesson outline. So strategy 1, we'll be doing repeated identity. There'll be a total of 3 questions from there. Strategy number 2 will be equal fractions. Also another 3 questions. Then lastly, we'll do 2 higher order thinking questions. Okay. Right, cool. Okay, so before we begin, right, there's some ground rules that I'd like to share with you all. So audio will be muted at all times. So if you all have any questions, just type through the chat, okay? No spamming of the chat, don't annotate on the screen, and most importantly, listen attentively, right? Okay. Moment. Okay, let's begin. So today's lesson, like I said, the first strategy is repeated identity. Okay, so repeated identity, right? What we're going to do is going to convert fraction into ratio first. Then we'll identify the item or the name that is repeated twice. I repeat again. Firstly, we convert fraction to ratio. Then next, in a sentence, there'll be an item or a name that we repeated twice. Okay, we'll highlight that one. So make sure that the highlighted name, right, the one that's being repeated twice, okay, make sure that they have the equal amount of units. Okay, we'll do that using common multiple. And after we solve for the answer. Okay, so let's get right into it. Okay, strategy number 1. Ron had half as much money as Alice. Okay, so can you type in your chat how many units does Ron have and how many units does Alice have? Yeah, most of you seems to have gotten it. So Ron, okay, so write down here, Ron. So remember, the first step is to turn fraction into ratio. So 1 is to Alice is 1 is to 2. So 1 is 1 unit, Alice is 2 units. Okay. Now in the next sentence, Alice has 3/4 as much money as Lynn, right? So can you type how many units does Alice have and how many units does Lynn have? Okay, good. So Alice has 3 units and Lynn has 4 units. So write down Alice is to Lynn, which is 3 is to 4. Okay, so now in the chat, right, can you type whose name is repeated twice? Cool. Yeah, most of you know it's Alice, right? So what we're going to do is, in this scenario, Alice is 2 units. In this scenario, Alice is 3 units. So Alice's money didn't change, right? So it has to be the same. So how are you going to make 2 units and 3 units the same? Okay, so what you're going to do is, you see this purple one here that's written, you're going to write is to Lynn. So this is 3 is to 4. Okay, so how are you going to make Alice the same? So you're going to find the common multiple. So right now the common multiple of 2 and 3. Okay, can you type what's the common multiple of 2 and 3? Very good. 6. Common multiple of 2 and 3 is 6. So what we're going to do now, right, is going to change this to 6. So from 3, how are we going to change it to 6? We multiply it by 2. And if you multiply here by 2, here also need to multiply by 2. So Alice is to this side is 6 is to 8. Write that down. Now in this case, Alice is 2, right? So how do we make it into 6? We multiply here by 3. 2 times 3 is 6, right? So if this is 3, here also must multiply by 3. So 1 times 3 is 3. So now your new ratio of Ron is to Alice is to Lynn is 3 is to 6 is to 8. Now let's look at the next set of information. So if Ron had $45 less than Lynn, find the total sum of money among the 3 of them. So this becomes easy. So Ron is 3 units. Lynn, 8 units. So the difference in their units is 8 units minus 3 units is 5 units. So that's the difference in terms of units. So the difference in terms of money, 5 units is $45. So go and find for 1 unit. 45 divided by 5, and that is $9. So can y'all find the total sum and let me know the answer in the chat now? So total sum means total units 3 plus 6 plus 8. That's a total of 17 units. So 17 times 9. All done. So just take 17 times $9, you get $103. Easy. Okay, take some kind of copy down before I go to the next question. Okay, now let's go to question number 2. Okay, this one. City has 2/7 as many suites as Joel. So how many units does City have and how many units does Joel have? Can you type in the chat? Good, good. So it's 2 is to 7. Okay, next one. Melvin had 3/4 as many suites as Joel. So write down Melvin is to Joel. So Melvin is 3 units, Joel is 4 units. Now, type in the chat whose name is repeated twice. Okay, correct. Joel, right? So what you're going to do now, right? Over here, going to write is to Melvin. So Melvin is 3 units, right? Write down in the second line here. And Joel is 4. Write that down here. Okay, so do you see this? 7 and 4. What's the common multiple of 7 and 4? Because Joel's suites didn't change, right? So 7 units and the 4 units have to be the same. So go and find the common multiple. Common multiple of 7 and 4. Good, 28 units. So I want to change this to 28. Let's write down 28. So right here, I have to multiply by 7. So here's I should multiply by 7. So 3 times 7 is 21. Now above, 7 times 4 is 28, right? So right now, times 4, here also must times 4. So 2 times 4 is 8. So right down. So your new ratio is this. City is to Joel, is to Melvin, is 8, is to 28, is to 21. So once you establish this, the rest of the question is super easy. Okay. All right, let's take a look. Melvin had 39 more suites than City. So write down Melvin. Go step by step. Melvin's 21 units. City is 8 units. So what's the difference in the units? 21 units minus 8 units goes to 13 units. So this 13 units is 39. Okay, now proceed to answer the question. Find the total number of sweets shared among the 3 children. So total number of sweets is, in terms of units, is 8 plus 28 plus 21, right? So this is 57 units. So you have to find for 57 units. It's not that hard. So 1 unit is 39 divided by 13 equals to 3. So 57 units is 57 times 3, which equals to 171. Okay, you're done? Okay, let's go to the third question. Okay, this question, right, put a little star over here. Okay, schools love to ask this kind of questions, right? And it can be very tricky at times. So we have to break this down one by one. Okay, the figure is made up of a rectangle and a square. Okay, the area of the square, write down square, is 1/3 the area of the rectangle. So square is to rectangle is 1, is 2, 3. Next one, given that 1/5 of the square is shaded. Okay, so in this case, let's write down square like the SQ. All right, so now shaded is to SQ, the square. This 1 is to 5. Okay, so can you tell me, right, which figure is being repeated twice? Correct. It's the square, okay? So what we're going to do is, so be very careful, shaded is to square. So write down shaded over here. Okay, because of the space sake, I'm going to write it down here again. Shaded is to square is to R. So the first one is to 3. So in this case, when you're writing this way, the square is 5 units. The shaded is 1 unit. Okay, so now our job is to make this the same. So you have 1 unit and 5 units. So what is the common multiple of 1 and 5? Anyone? Yeah, it's very easy, right? It's simply 5. So since 5 is over here, let it remain. You just have to change whatever it's here. So times 5, here also must times 5. So therefore, you get 1 is to 5 is to 15. Correct. Okay, so now can you all type in the answer? What fraction of the figure is shaded? Okay. Okay, so now I want you to start thinking with a bit of logic, okay? Let's slowly do this. So now let's outline the figure. So this figure looks like this. All right. Which means to say, like, if I were to take the rectangle into account, okay, as part of the figure, then you realize that this part is actually not a square. It is actually like a disfigured looking figure. You realize it, you see it. So it's actually one rectangle and one disfigured L-shaped sized figure that makes up the entire figure. So right, this is 1 unit. Okay, so the rectangle here, as we know, it's 15 units. So right now, whole thing here is 15 minutes. Okay, it's method 1, 15 minutes. So can you tell me, right, what is the unit for this one here? This portion here. Is it still 5? Very good. It's 4. This portion here is actually 4. So what is the unit of the total figure then? It is 15 units plus 4 units and give you 19 units. So what fraction of the figure is shaded? It is 1 over 19. Not 1 over 20, not 1 over 21. It's 1 over 19. Okay, this is one way to look at it. Now, another way to look at it is okay. So another way to look at this is made up of one shaded portion and two disfigured looking rectangle and square. So this is no longer rectangle, right? Rectangle is 15 units, which means this portion here is 14. Which means this portion here, as we suggested earlier on, is 4. So it's easier to look this way as well. So the total unit for the area is 4 plus 1 plus 14, which is 19. All right, so it's 1 over 19. Okay, this way it's fine. So, okay. Okay, now let's go to strategy number 2. Equal fractions. All right, so for strategy number 2, right, what we're going to do is identify the fraction that is equal. It's the first step. The second step is to make the numerator the same, not the denominator, but the numerator. And then lastly, we will solve for the answer. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I understand. First, we go through strategy 2. Then later, when we have time, we'll go through the question 4, right? Of each. Right, now let's look at this question here. 3/4 of Cherry's money is the same as 5 over 6 of Brian's money. Okay. So if Cherry had $24 more than Brian, what is Cherry's and Brian's total sum of money? Okay. So in other words, right, the 4 units here and the so-called 6 units here, they don't actually tally up. It's more like 4 units and this actually 6 parts. Okay. The only thing that tallies up is the 3 units out of the 4 and the 5 parts out of the 6. Okay, so if I were to give you a model representation, it will look something like this. 1, 2, 3. So 3 units of this. Okay, Cherry, Brian. It's actually 5 or 6. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. All right. So you see, it's a bit hard to visualize this, right? But this is the idea. Okay, so 5 units out of 6 units from Brian is the same as 3 units out of the total 4 units. So how do we tally them up? Okay, so like their strategy that suggested earlier on, right? You see 3 over 4, Cherry, and you see Brian, 5 over 6. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the numerator the same. So how are you going to make the numerator the same? You're going to make it like the common multiple of 3, and 5. So what's the common multiple of 3 and 5? So this is 15 over 20. And this is times 3 here, right? So times 3 as well. So this is 15 over 18. Okay, so now I want you to read the question with your new fractions. 15 over 18 of Cherry's money is the same as 15, oh, apologies, sorry. 15 over 20 of Cherry's money is the same as 15 over 18 of Brian's money. Okay, so when you read like this, it makes a lot more sense than 3 over 4 and 5 over 6, right? Okay, so can you tell me what's the total units of Cherry's money? Type in the chat. What is the total unit of Cherry's money? Correct, 20 units. And what is the total unit of Brian's money? Yep, 18 units. So now the question, let's go read the question. If Cherry had $24 more than Brian, so Cherry is 20 units, Brian is 18 units. So the difference is 20 units minus 18 units, and that is 2 units. So 2 units is $24. So go and find for 1 unit, which is 24 divided by 2, which is 12. So how many units are we supposed to find? Can you type in the chat? All right, very good. So the total is 38, right? So 1 unit is $12. So 38 units is 38 times 12. This equals to $456. Okay, why 38 units? Because as we discussed earlier on, the total units of Cherry is 20, and the total units of Brian's money is 18. We decipher this through the denominator. See, 15 over 20, 15 out of 20 means 20 units is Cherry's. 15 out of 18, which means Brian is 18 units. Okay. All right, let's go to the next question. So there are some cows and goats. 1/5 of the number of cows is equals to 5/8 of the number of goats. Okay, so write down cows and goats. So 1/5 and 5/8. So what they're saying is 1 unit of the 5 units from the cow, right? It's the same as 5 parts out of the 8 parts from the goat. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this the same. So what's the common multiple of 1 and 5? All right, so 5. Okay, so for this kind of question, right, ratio, we try not to use ratio for this, okay? So it's more in fractions. So the common multiple of 1 and 5 is 5, which means the 5/8 here can stay. But the 1/5 multiplied 5, you must multiply the bottom. So 5/25, 5/8. So now let's go and read the question with the fraction that we found here. 5/25, meaning like 5 units out of 25 units from the cows equals to 5 units out of the 8 units from the goats. So in this case, the denominator here will tell you the total number of units of cows. The denominator here will tell you the total number of units for the goats. Okay. So therefore, cows is 25 units. Goat is 8 units. Okay, so there are 34 more cows than goats, right? So how many units equals to 34? You know, type in the chat. Okay, that's right, Vivian. Okay, so write down 25 units minus 8 units is 17 units. So the 17 units is the 34. So read the question carefully, okay? How many goats are there on the farm? They're not asking for the total, just the goats. So goats is 8 units, right? So 1 unit is 34 divided by 17, they'll get you 2. So since goats is 8 units, find for 8 units. 2 times 8 equals to 16. Okay. Now let's go to the higher order question. Okay, so in this question, let's read it out first, okay? Jasmine spent 4/9 of her money on 6 mugs. She bought another 3 identical mugs and 10 files with the rest of her money. What fraction of her money did she spend on the 10 files? Okay. So for this question, right, what you're going to do is going to do a branch diagram. Okay, so she has a total amount of money, right? So write down here money. And you branch it out. So she spent 4/9 of her money on 6 mugs. Okay, next, what she did, she went to buy 3 mugs. And then with the rest, she went to buy 10 files. So how do we find the fraction here and the fraction here? Okay, the clue lies with 4/9 is 6 mugs. So write this down. 6 marks is associated with 4/9. 4/9 of the money. So can you find out if it's 1 mark, what is the fraction? So how are you going to think this logically? So for example, 6 marks. If this is $12, how to find for 1 mark? You take 12, divide by 6, right? Correct. So same thing here. The $12, the $12 is not a real value, it's just a made up value, right? So $12 here in this case is 4/9. Just take 4/9, like what I did the $12, and I divide it by 6. So this equals to 4/9 times 1/6. So it is 4/54. So 3 marks. Will be 4/54 times 3. They'll get you 12/54. So these two are multiples of 6. So 12 divided by 6 is 2. 54 divided by 6 is 9. So for 3 marks is actually 2/9. Write that down. All right. So what fraction of her money did she spend on the 10 files? So part A, you just take 1 whole minus 4/9 minus 2/9. You get 3/9 and give it in its simplest form, just 1/3. Okay, so part A done. So part B becomes very easy. Okay, so part B is a different kind of a scenario they're trying to give you. Okay, so let's say she had all the money and she decided to go and spend it all on files. Okay, so how many files can she buy? So according to this fraction here, if 1/3 of her money can be used to buy 10 files, that means all of the money is 1 whole, right? Which is 3/3, which is 10 files times 3. So you'll get 30 files. Clear? Okay, question 2, right? It's going to get a little bit hard. Okay. Okay, so I'm now going to move to question number 2. Okay, Mrs. Lee baked 84 more apples. Okay, wait, just give me a moment. Okay, quickly copy down. Okay, I'll give you another minute to copy down, right? Okay, so yes. Okay, done, copy. Okay, great. Okay, Mrs. Lee baked 84 more apple pies than cheese pies. After selling 4 or 7 of the apple pies and half of the cheese pies, she then had 153 pies left. How many apple pies did she bake? Okay, so quickly draw a model in this case, just to get a rough idea. So apple pies is 84 more than cheese pies. Okay, so after selling 4 or 7 of the apple pies and half of the cheese pies, she then had 153 pies left. Okay, so what we're going to do now, right? We are going to make 7 and 2 into a number that is a common multiple of this two, right? 7 and 2. What's the common multiple of 7 and 2? 14. All right, 14 units. So for this case, what we're going to do is we're going to write it down as 7 over 14 of the cheese pies. So in that case, right, what's the total unit of the cheese pies? Anyone? Let's forget about the apple pies first. Let's forget about the. Let's talk about the cheese pies. So how many units are there? Okay, very good. 14. So in this model here, right, we put 14 units. Put it down. Okay, so if this is 14 units, what do you think this portion here is? Can you type in chat? It is also 14 units. Well done. Okay, so now place the model there a bit. All right. So this is before. This is before. Okay, so before you're going to before. We are now going to draw the after model, okay? But the after model, you need to understand this particular logic first. Okay. Now, for example, here, right? Let's say I got $150, okay? Total is $150. $150. So total is 150, right? So if I were to say I spent half of $150, how much do I have left? 75, right? Okay, correct, 75. So this whole model here is $150, right? But if I were to split it to 150 and I say I spend half of 100 and half of 50, what is half of 100? $50, right? What is half of $50? $25, correct. So just now I ask you half of 150 is $75. But if I were to split the model up like this and I say half of 150, y'all can tell me it's half of 150, half of 50 is 25. You add these two up, what do y'all get? Also $75. You'll see it. So this is the underlying concept of how we're going to draw the after model. Okay. So the after model, right? Okay, we talk about the cheese pies later. Look at the apple pies. So apple pie, they said 4/7 of the apple pies were sold, correct? But the model is split up into 14 units and 84 units. So over here, we established that 150 times half is 75. If I split 150 into 150 and half, I'll also get 75. So in this case, what is 4/7 of 14 units? Anyone? Type in chat. What is 4/7 of the 14 units? Correct. Well done. So 14 units times 4/7, cancel, 2, is actually 8 units. So go and draw the model first. So for after, okay, we're still not done yet for apple pies. So it's just 8 units here. So what about the 84? The 84 also must times with 4/7. So what's 84 times 4/7? Okay, very good. 48, correct. Okay, so this after, right, is after sold, correct? So early on I had 14 units and 84, correct? So after I sell 8 units, 14 minus 8 will be 6 units. So can you erase this and write 6 units? And then 48 over here, right? So from the 84, can you minus 48? So you will get 36. So draw here, 36. So next one, cheese pies. It first got 14 units, right? So it's half of the 14 units gone. How many units is there left? Yep, well done, 7 units. So draw 7 units. Okay, so what's the question saying? She had 153 pies left. So which means this is the left, 153. Okay, so now it becomes very easy already. Just take 153, you minus root 36. So this is 117. So how many units is 117? 13 units is 117. So go and find for 1 unit. So 117 divided by 13, which equals to 9. So the question is asking how many apple pies did she bake? So apple pies is 6 Oh, did she bake all together? So it's before. So it's back to 14 minutes and 84. So go and find for 14 minutes. So it's 14 times 9. Which is 126. So you take the 126, you plus with 84. Equals to 210. Okay. If you're done copying, can you type in the chat? Okay, class. So earlier I missed up question 4, right? So I'm going to go back there now. Strategy 1, question 4. So let's go and do that now. Okay. The figure is made up of a rectangle and a square. The area of the square is 205, the area of the rectangle. So can you type in the chat? The square is to rectangle, what is the ratio? Okay, for those of you who just came back, I'm on page 3, question 4. Okay, good. So area of the square, so write down SQ to rectangle is 2 is to 5. All right, next one. Given that 3/4 of the square is shaded. So now the next set of ratio. Shaded is to square. So this one is 3 is to 4. So in this question, right, which figure is repeated twice? Square, right? Correct, well done. So the square is repeated twice, okay? So what you're going to do now is going to write is to shaded. So this is 4 is to 3. Okay, so now our job is to make the 2 and the 4 the same. So what is the common multiple of 2 and 4? Yep. Some say 8. Okay, you're not wrong. Okay, but the easier one is, look at it. 2, 4, 6, 8. 4, 8, 12. Yes, you're correct. But the simpler one will be, say, common multiple 4. So we rather choose 4, right? So since 4 is already here, just leave it. Just have to take 2 times 2. So here also you must times 2. So your new ratio will be 3 is to, sorry, 3 is to 4 is to 10. Okay, now look at the question. Given that the area of the unshaded part is 72 cm, means this part here and this part here. So how are you going to find the part? Okay, so now look at the rectangle, right? Rectangle total is, focus on the rectangle first, guys. So rectangle is 10 units, right? And the shaded here is 3 units. So what is this portion here then? Can you tell me? Yeah, impressive. 7 units. So same goes for this part here now. Okay, now I'm going to erase this part here. Now I'm going to highlight the square. So the unit of the square is 4, right? So what is this part here? Can you type in chat? Yep. 1 unit. So now we see the area of the unshaded part is 72 units, 72 cm square, right? Which means what's the total units there? It's 1 unit plus 7 units. That's a total of 8 units. So 8 units is 72 cm squared. So find for 1 unit first. So what's the area of the square? Square is 4 units. So it's 9 times 4, you'll get 36 cm squared. That's all. Okay. Okay, lesson recap. So what we did here today was repeated identity, equal fractions, and higher order question 1 and 2. So can you type in the chat, right? Which one is the challenging one for you? Is it repeated identity, equal fractions, or the higher order ones? One of you said nothing. The rest of you said higher order question 2. Okay, so for the higher order question 2, right, it will take a while to figure it out. Okay, so don't worry. The lesson will be uploaded on the online platform. And you can go and revisit and then again, okay? Okay, so I'd just like to point out some of the upcoming assessments, right? Okay, so in August, again, like I want to repeat again, the repeated assessment for Prime 5, prelims will be for Prime 6. And in October, PSLE starts already. And for P5, your year-end exam begins then, okay? So time is very limited at this point, okay? So I urge you to register for a trial lesson as soon as you can, because time is limited. Okay. So I'm going to start off with the PSLE Final Push program, all right? Okay, so this is an 8-week program designed based on our proven score system, okay? So this 8-week program will help you prepare for your PSLE. It will help you strengthen your understanding, provide an easy to flow and easy to apply system that will sharpen your problem solving skills. Basically, right, it will help you break down all the wordy problem sums, okay? So it starts on the first week of August and we continue on for 8 lessons, all right? So let me just copy paste this down. Okay, so I just put this in the chat, all right? Okay, so all you have to do is just scroll down, all right? These are all the modes of the classes, so see which one suits to your schedule. And key in your name, your email, and your mobile number, and which mode you prefer. and you press submit, and it will attend to you within 1 working day, right? So next, like for primary 5 and primary 6, right, we now have a primary 3 and 4 mini course that you can attend. If you have your siblings who are in primary 3 or 4, they can attend our mini course, okay? So it's every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Okay. So lastly, I would like to invite you for a quick, before that, this is the link for the primary 3 and 4. Give me a moment. Yes, sure, you can go. Right. Okay. So for the primary 3 one also, right? Just have to scroll down and key in your name and particulars. Okay. All right. So lastly, I would like to invite you for a complimentary trial lesson. So this is to assess your readiness and find out what your weaknesses are, and to give you this score system which can help you improve your grades within 1 or 2 within 90 days. All right. So, and then we will craft a step-by-step action for you to move forward. And for the trial lesson, this is the website link. Hold on. Right. So all you have to do, right, is go to the website that I just sent you, click on the icon, and then when you scroll down, key in your name, the particular, and the mode you prefer, and it will attend to you within 1 working day. So before I leave, right, and before you guys leave as well, can you just take down this? It is for the primary 3 and 4, right? So for primary 3 and 4, it's the same thing, okay? Once you go to that link, there are 4 lessons starting from the 4th of August. So key in your name, your particulars, which level you're in, that's very important, and submit it. Okay. So with that, I'll end the session here for today. I'll be here for the next 5 minutes if you need anything. If not, you can take care and have a good day.